We're at the Curtiss Wright Hangar in Columbia, South Carolina at the Hamilton Owens Airport. The hangar itself was built in 1929 by the Curtiss Wright Company, the partnership of a company formed by the Wright brothers and Glenn Curtiss.
I don't know exactly how many of these are left, but I know there are very few of them, and perhaps none in the kind of original condition that this one is in.
It's definitely worth saving.
It's now or never.
We could look at it purely architecturally and say it qualifies for the National Register and we need to protect it. But there's so much more about it that brings it to life and makes it a really important part of the story of this community that I think takes it to another level.
This structure is extremely historic. It's important with the history of Columbia and Richland County, and it's going to fall down soon if something's not done.
The Hamilton Owens Airport was Columbia, South Carolina's primary airport. So the hangar was used for airmail service and passenger service. Delta had a lounge contained within with a little deli bar in it where passengers could grab something to eat and use the facilities before they went. This was the only airport in Columbia, so it's really got some significant history here.
Well, Amelia Earhart, for one, was here in a beach nut advertising Autogyro, which is a hybrid airplane helicopter of early vintage in the 30s. And she was on a cross-country trip and signed the airport log. President Franklin Roosevelt's been here. Most of the presidential candidates have been here.
In '97, I flew down here and passed this hangar every day to and from school. Always had visions of it being something great. I think every pilot who's ever come to this airport and driven down Jim Hamilton Boulevard has looked at that hangar and saw some potential in it.
What Ed and Ben and Scott and I have kind of come up with after talking about this for more than a year is a way to keep the building as original as possible, have events in it that will help the building pay its own way, and will let people come in and enjoy the space, and hopefully what we do to it will enhance that enjoyment.
We still got to keep in the back of our minds the historic ethic that we have espoused to support this, because that's part of what we're going to do.
The hangar is about 12,000 square feet. 3,500 of those square feet are going to be used for the restaurant space, plus we have the rooftop dining as well, where the observation deck used to be. We want it family friendly. We want everyone to be able to enjoy it, whether they want a grilled cheese or a steak. They need to be able to come here and get it. We'll have about another 1,500 square feet being used for the meeting spaces, the special events venue, the utility and storage areas. And then the remainder will be used for the event venue itself. That houses the B-25 at this point.
From a tourism perspective, there are lots of opportunities with the site that you've got people flying in and out of there every day, so certainly people from all over the country will have a chance to walk in or to see it from the sky.
This airport is owned by the citizens of Richland County. It is Richland County property, and all the buildings, all the improvements, although most of the improvements were paid for with federal money. So it's a good public investment. And the hangar, the Curtiss Wright Hangar, is a cornerstone to that.
This is a late 1920s masonry building. That alone is important to recognize that as a movement. And when we add the aviation history to that and the really interesting architectural features to that, that certainly ratchets up the significance.
As a pilot, I've always been interested in the history of the building, and particularly when the B-25 was located here, that was a real treat for me.
Myself and some others established the foundation to take over the care of our last remaining World War II airplane artifact in South Carolina. This is the very last one. So this plane came to this building in 1984. It's been here ever since.
My vision for the Curtiss Wright Hangar would be wedding receptions, a restaurant with a little balcony there with umbrellas where people can come and watch the airplanes on the safe side of the fence.
We can restore it, we can showcase it, we can learn from it as an educational piece. We can also return it to the community as a revenue producer, and instead of being a blight on Owens Field, it's a building that we can all be proud of. And this isn't just our project, this is the whole community's project.
As an architect, I'm interested in the building for what it is as a space and for what it represents in the city's history of aviation.
You know, Scott is a pilot and has flown into Owens Field Airport for such a long time and noticed the hangar from the sky. And so it's a great union, I think, of a person in Columbia who is committed to seeing this community grow, but also has a very sincere interest in what the building was used for originally. So you see that passion.
It's, I think, a beautiful structure. It may be hard for some people to see it that way, but every time I look at it, I get excited. The barrel vault roof is beautiful, the anchored sort of masonry ends on it, and all of the steel windows. I think renovated, it would be a beautiful, beautiful space, and we hope they can pull it off.
It's going to take the financial viability to get it done and to really get people to participate. But I think what's going to make it stand on its own is the uniqueness of its history, its ability to bring passion to the project and really see it through to where it needs to be. And if we can hold true to that, I think it's going to have a higher value than just what the bottom line says.
The neighborhood that the Curtiss Wright Hangar is located within has really seen a resurgence in recent years. There's a ball field immediately adjacent to it where families just flock to every Saturday. There's already a great pool of people who are coming down to that area. With city roots there, I think there's also just a lot more activity.
But, you all, if you read the state newspaper, you saw that there was an article with regards to the Curtiss Wright Hangar.
We include this as being one of the exciting projects for Rosewood. We've got the Crawfish Festival, which is an annual event on Rosewood Drive, not far from here. It attracts thousands of people. Right across the street, you have City Roots. They have different community events. So all that's going to add to this project, bring people in, and so I think it couldn't be in a more ideal location.
It's going to be something that we can all be proud of, and something that Columbia, the state of South Carolina, the aviation history, folks, pilots.
I think that this is a great opportunity to bring that to the public, bring it to children. I want them to come in and eat and accidentally learn something about history and aviation in South Carolina. And that's really what excites me the most about the project.
I've already had many people say that they want to be on the soft opening list, and they definitely want to go up on the rooftop and enjoy planes taking off and landing, and whether it's having a drink or enjoying a meal, that it's definitely going to be a good space to have it at.
Let's get it done.